Okay, so first thing to notice is that since we are on stage, which you can tell by the URL, every single name and participant in here are test users. So there's no PHI. Actually, whenever test users sign up on the stage site, they're, unless the person testing enters a name, all of these names are randomly generated. So a few things to point out here. You can see the participant's name, their email address, date of birth, if they're active in the study, if they're consented, yes or no. You can also see a timestamp or date of when the consent was signed. Don't worry about confirmed, and we don't need to worry about either of these for now either. So let's start by clicking the Eureka ID. So this is where if you're working with a participant and they need a password reset or they've made a typo in their name or email, you can come here and you can edit the name. Maybe it should be Kings. Maybe there's a new password that you wanted to enter here. You can make whatever corrections you want and then you can hit save. So this is pretty straightforward. And then I think it takes just a moment for that update to show, but I would expect that there it is, to show up. Clicking back on the Eureka ID, this is also where you can mark a participant as test. It doesn't really matter when you're in stage, but if you're, for some reason, testing some functionality on production, which should be rare, you would come in here and check the test user box and then hit save. And what this does is it excludes them from any data sets going to any like data analyst for interpretation. If you don't know whether or not to mark someone as test user, you can always ask myself or Noah. And then this is also where if you're working with a participant and they want to withdraw from the study, you would change this radio button to withdrawn, and then you would hit save. You don't really need to worry about the other two options. Down here you can see what referral they came in with. There shouldn't be a situation where you need to change this, but we create different referrals, which are just different links for different recruitment efforts. So for recruiting some people from the American Heart Association, we can give them a special link, and that would show up here. For instance, if we were recruiting from UCSF, maybe we would generate a specific link and it would say UCSF here. But anyway, you shouldn't ever need to change anything here. So let's go back to participants, and now let's click their name. And this brings up their profile. We see some of the same information again. We see their ID, their date of birth, and then special for CCS is based on some survey questions within the study. We post their vaccination status here, so you'll see that. We can see some contact information, so if a participant did choose to provide their cell phone number, it would show there. And then we also have their consent. So you can download it and see if it was approved or not. If someone withdraws from the study, right here, it would also have the date that they withdrew. Now moving along to activity. In Eureka, all activities are grouped in something called e-visits, and it's just a way to group activities together. So in CCS, which is the acronym for COVID-19 Citizen Science, the first e-visit is baseline. So you can click this and it's an accordion and it shows all of the activities within it. This has a bunch of red X's because it looks like for this test user, whoever was using it was trying to test something and just went ahead and skipped through all of these activities. So you'll see a red X if they've been skipped or expired, and then you'll see a green check mark if they've been completed. So here's a good example for a check mark for eVisit 2. Let's just go back to participants and see if we can find another one, maybe a better example of someone who's done some activities. Maybe not. Let's try one of my test users. Baseline, no, I haven't done any. But anyway, I think you get the idea. There would be green check marks for participants who have completed activities. There we go, there's some. The gray circle means that this is next step. So that's how that works. And all of these have like accordion style openers that show you the activities inside.